What the heck? Jumpstart 2022 is upon us, and on this day of days, we'll take a look at reprints you might want to pick up for your commander decks. Well, that's it. Magic is officially dead. Everyone is all bazoo over Magic 30th anniversary, whatever. I'm not touching that hot mess with a 10-foot pole, alright? You're not getting any hot takes here. I'm going to talk about Jumpstart 2022. One thing I loved about the prior Jumpstart set was how easy it was to parse. There are no foils, no extended arts, no showcase frames, just cards, the way God intended. At its heart, it's a reprint set, and unfettered by theme and the need to curate a draft experience, you get some pretty sweet reprints sprinkled around. Now, I'm not going to cover every single one because that's just life. Look, I don't have time for all that. Also, that would be a really boring video. I'm just talking about stinky commons and uncommons that everybody's going to slap into bulk boxes anyway. These are the cards I'm excited to see reprinted, and the way you can use them in your commander decks. Before we get too deep, Ristic Study is getting a reprint, so there you go. Video over. Everybody take a nap. But first, like, subscribe, and shoot me a comment for the algorithm. Teferi's Puzzle Box. 4 generic mana for an artifact. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player puts the cards in their hand on the bottom of their library in any order, then draws that many cards. That player draws their first card for the turn first. Man oh man, this is such a pain in paper Magic. So basically, after you draw for turn, you bottom your hand and draw that many cards. This is powerful in a wide variety of situations, but there are cards and commanders that care about how many cards you draw on your turn, like Kydel, Chosen a Crucifix, you got Shabraz the Sky Shark, and any deck running Psychosis Crawler. Pair this with a Smothering Tithe, and your opponents will be drawing cards and making you more treasures than you can possibly use. Depending on what version you want, this thing was up to about $7. Mechanized Production. If you look real close, you can see Elon Musk in the background building a rocket. 2 blue for an enchantment aura. Enchant artifact you control. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of enchanted artifact. Then if you control 8 or more artifacts with the same name as one another, you win the game. This is an awesome card, considering the preponderance of artifact commanders from recent sets. This and Mere Battlesphere wins you the game on your upkeep, or anything that makes masses of treasures. This card is great in Brutaclad decks, and it climbed to about $10. Stitcher Supplier. If you didn't know, this set has an anime waifu sub-theme. It's black. For a creature zombie, it's a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield or die, mill 3 cards. This uncommon's price had risen to about $5, and this gets a sweet, blonde, anime waifu version for all your anime waifu needs. Here we go, Leonin War Leader. 2 white for a creature, Cat Soldier. It's a 4/4. Whenever it attacks, create 2 1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink that are tapped and attacking. This is a lot of value for 4 mana. This guy's just a blonde cat version of Fabio. He's chilling in the tall grass with some bros. This goes in cat decks, token decks, life gain decks. The cheapest version prior to this reprint was around $5.50. Professional Facebreaker. It looks a little like my ex-wife. 2 and a red for a creature, Human Warrior. It's a 2/3 with Menace. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Sacrifice a treasure. Exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Turns out this is a good card and it goes in a ton of decks. In the short time this has been around, this little rare has risen to about $4.50. I would snatch up a copy or 2 if the reprint deflates that price a little bit. Elvish Warmaster, Master Frodo. 1 and a green for a creature, Elf Warrior. It's a 2/2. Whenever 1 or more other elves enter the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 green Elf Warrior creature token. This ability triggers only once each turn. Also has 5 green. Elves you control get +2/+2 and gain Death Touch until the end of turn. This little elvish grandpa will stick his sword directly into your schmingus. This thing rocks in elf decks. Elf decks often have a lot of mana and need mana sinks. This thing comes in at about $3. A reprint might drop it to bulk price, and I'm gonna buy a copy, brother. Karn Liberated, shaking his fist at the sky. 7 generic mana for a legendary Planeswalker. Karn starts with loyalty 6, has a +4, target player exiles a card from their hand. -3, exile target permanent, you dingus. -14, restart the game, leaving in exile all non-aura permanent cards exiled with Karn Liberated. Then put those cards onto the battlefield under your control. Cheapest version of this thing is $16. The thing is bonkers if you can protect it, and now it gets a really angry looking anime waifu version. Mero Regere. How the heck am I even supposed to pronounce this? 2 and a blue for a Merfolk Soldier. Other Merfolk creatures you control get +1/+1. It's a dang Merfolk staple, and it's an anime waifu. Whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, you may tap or untap target permanent. Cheapest version prior to this reprint was about $4. Massacre worm. Everybody shows you pictures of their baby and it just looks like a massacre worm. 3 black, black, black for a creature Phyrexian worm. It's a 6/5. Oh, isn't my baby so cute? It's like, oh yeah, it's cute. When Massacre worm enters the battlefield, creatures your opponents control get -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, that player loses 2 life. When I first got back into Magic in like 2012, all I wanted was a dang Massacre worm. This seemed like the pinnacle of power, and it's pretty fair by today's standards. This remains an amazing card in mono black decks. Honestly, man, when somebody shows me a picture of their baby and I don't think it's cute, I just say, that baby's getting big. That way you don't even know if it's a boy or a girl. You can just say, that baby's getting big. Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker, 2 red for a legendary creature, Goblin Shaman. It's a 2/2 with haste. Tap, create a token that's a copy of target non-legendary creature you control, except it has haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Oh my god, this thing is a stupid combo engine. I have 3 copies of this I got from a collection, and it's bonkers in any deck that you put it in. And guess what? It's getting new art, and it's an anime waifu. Alright, I don't know if it's Lyra or Lyra. Dawnbringer, 3 white for a legendary creature, Angel. It's a 5/5 with flying, first strike, and lifelink. Other angels you control get +1/+1 have lifelink. She says, you are not alone, you never were, which is kind of creepy because I'm alone in my house by myself right now. Weirdo. Anyway, this is a pushed, bonkers, super strong mythic in your angel decks. Good lord, it's $15 right now. Oh man, let me tell you about Primordial Hydra. X green for a creature, it's a Hydra 0/0. When it enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, double the number of +1/+1 counters on Primordial Hydra. Primordial Hydra has trample as long as it has 10 or more +1/+1 counters on it. Duels of the Planeswalkers 2013 had a promo of this that you could bring a code to a store and get a copy of this thing. It had special art, and I actually did that and I feel no embarrassment whatsoever. This card is great. It's no less than $13 right now. Shimmer Dragon, 4 blue for a creature dragon. It's a 5/6 with flying. As long as you control 4 or more artifacts, Shimmer Dragon has hexproof. Tap 2 untapped artifacts you control, draw a card. This just got a reprint, now we get another one. But this is a great card for equipment decks, artifact decks, any deck where you're making a bunch of treasures. The power of this thing cannot be overstated, especially if you're making those clues, all that fun stuff. This particular card is very cheap right now because it just got a reprint, but it's notable, at least to this old magical guy. You got Phyrexian Reclamation getting a reprint. It's black for an enchantment. Pay 1 and a black, pay 2 life, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Look at this art, dude. What in the heck is going on? Somebody got a bowl haircut back there. This card plays way better than it looks in the right decks. Price had gotten up to about $450. This one's a classic. Alright, here we go. Ballin, Wandering Knight. 2 white for a legendary creature, Cat Knight. It's a 3/3 with first strike. Ballin, Wandering Knight has double strike as long as 2 or more equipment are attached to it. Has 1 and a white. Attach all equipment you control to Ballin. So this guy just kind of sucks all the equipment onto himself. And I know his name is probably Balin, alright? I'm saying it funny. The Commander 2017 version is the only other printing. That thing was about $5. This alternate anime waifu art is kind of cool though. Excellent card in a white-based equipment deck or at the helm of his own deck. You got Lathless, Dragon Queen, 4 red for a legendary creature. It's a dragon 6/6 with flying. Whenever a non-token dragon enters the battlefield under your control, create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. 1 and a red, dragons you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Come on, man, this makes dragons, pumps dragons, fairly well costed. Despite a bunch of printings, this thing was around $6. You got Ronus the Indomitable, 2 and a green for a legendary creature. It's a god. It's 5/5 with Death Touch and indestructible. Ronus the Indomitable can't attack or block unless you control another creature with power 4 or greater. 2 and a green. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. The bog standard Amonkhet version was around $7. This thing is great in a green creature deck. And what green creature deck are you running where you don't control a creature with power 4 or greater? This thing is nasty for 3 mana. It can be activated at instant speed to give tramp stamps to a unblocked creature, or a blocked creature rather. Dang, look at this giant unit. Alright, last one. Veto, Thorn of the Dusk Rose, 2 and a black for a legendary creature, Vampire Cleric. It's a 1/3. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. 3 black, creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn. This guy is fantastic. He wins games. He combos with that other card that I forget the name of in black. You know what? It's $4. Just buy it. Hey, listen, there are a bunch more reprints. I just wanted to wet your beak a little bit. But if you want more, go check out the Scryfall list and peruse until your heart's content. There are some really good ones in this set. Listen, I know everything is self-destructing right now. Everybody's mad upset, but we can still hang out and play Commander together, right? I mean, we can have a good time and engage with the hobby in the way that we want to. Stay safe out there, my friends. Sneaky G from Better Commander, signing off.